beautifully portrayed that says a lot about it. It represents this Caribbean voice. It gathers 37 heads of state, Caribbean governments, and regional organizations. Each country is present to mention the climate issues. All the states gather in order to find solutions against global warming. The objective is also to obtain aids from wealthy countries in order to develop renewable energy centers.
This is a very wide, encompassing meeting and very crucial because obviously there is a clear attempt to establish a position, a Caribbean position, ahead of COP21 in Paris later on this year. That is very important for this region because our voices, as particularly in the context of the SIDS meeting, which is the small island developing states of the Caribbean. We've merged our voices, for instance, with the Pacific states because they're island nations as well.
Certainly allow us, in addressing the funding, not only allow us to move to looking at climate change, but when he suggested blue economy, he was also thinking about creating the opportunity for the creation of wealth, as he's thinking that we have basically to revalue our own worth, to act locally but think globally.
Some speeches ended the will of reducing the impact of global warming.
We are expecting major transformations of our societies and of our ways of thinking in relation to climate change and the combined effects with globalization and growing precariousness and inequality. The loss of values and of principles leads to the danger of a collapse of cultural practices, and the weakening of traditions, irredeemable extinction of ancestral know-how. This can lead to an impoverishment of the harmonization between man and nature, and so a weakening of our resilience in relation to natural disasters.
This meeting on climate is crucial for the Caribbean, even if they don't belong to the area considered as the most polluted in terms of greenhouse gas emission. These islands have suffered from the climate imbalance. They are thus vulnerable. These regions have already undergone hurricanes, tropical storms, and sudden rising waters.
Without exaggerating it, let me say that I believe everything begins here, and it's through hearing from the voices of island states that the biggest countries will be placed in front of their responsibilities. We want the entire world to know that it is here that our future will play out. I'd like to quote from Edouard Glissant, which I think aptly sums up the task before it. Act locally and think globally. Here, we have the willingness to act, and we have to think globally as well. Thank you.
During this summit, a call for Fond de France was launched. Ségolène Royal, the MP of Martinique, Serge Letchimy, the President of Haiti, Michel Martelly, and the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, read the statement.
We, heads of state and government and regional authority officials, gathered here in Martinique on 9 May 2015, urge world leaders, regional and municipal authorities, the private sector, and the peoples of the world to join us in an operational formulation that will enable us to address the multifaceted challenge of climate change in the most solid, sound, and broad manner possible.
The threat is real from now on. There are 6 months left before the conference in Paris, COP21, on the climate, that is likely to recognize the specificity of islands' issues, but also to bring financial support. This is a meeting considered by lots of people as the last chance.